Hello, I'm Judy Fishel. My book, Straight A's Are Not Enough, takes a new approach to study skills. This series of videos is based on some of the research done for the book. I divided flexible time management into two short videos so you can take some time after the first part to think about it, or perhaps to begin using what you learned. The first video covers basic skills. Part 2 covers what I call power strategies. In this video, we start with the basics, using a calendar and a weekly schedule to organize time. You can use a large wall calendar or a pocket calendar, and some people like to use both. On your calendar, write the dates you need to remember. Write the dates when you have tests, dates when assignments are due, even dates for parties, doctor appointments, birthdays, and so on. Then you want to add dates for preparation. For the birthday, you could mark a date to buy and mail that birthday card. For the test, of course, you want to add dates to indicate when you will study for the test. For that assignment, let's say it's an essay, add dates for each step of preparation. A calendar can help us organize long-term events, things you don't need to do every week, but it won't help you organize your classes and study time. For these, we use a weekly schedule. First, you need a blank weekly schedule. It should have 8 columns, 1 for time and the other 7 for the days of the week. Down the left side, add your time starting with your earliest wake-up time, continuing down to your latest bedtime. And you might want to make several copies so you can make changes later. Now add all of your classes. Use colors if you like. This chart shows Aiden's schedule, and Aiden is delighted. He had heard that it would be hard to take 5 classes, but now it seems easy. Just look at all the free time. Well, if you think like Aiden, all I can say is just wait. Now you want to add study time. Some students think that study time is only for reading the textbook, but that's just the beginning. After you finish reading the chapter, you go on to study the material that you learned in the chapter and what you learned in classes. Most colleges suggest that students schedule 3 hours of study time for every hour of class. Aiden spends 4 hours a week in history class. This means he should spend 12 hours a week studying history. Here's what his schedule is beginning to look like. For biology, there are 3 hours of class plus 3 hours of lab, and I'd suggest calling that 4 hours. So he needs another 12 hours a week to study biology. Aiden has added meals and exercise. So what do you think of his schedule? I'd say it's pretty awful. He has 1 hour a day of free time, and even his weekends are pretty full. Well, looking at this, Aiden decided to drop 1 class. I should add that some colleges suggest only 2 hours instead of 3 hours of study for each hour of class. Which would you guess is right? Well, I would say that neither one is right. Every student is different. Every class is different. I'd suggest using 2 to 3 hours as a general guideline, but it's important to be flexible. One student has a hard time in math and needs more time. Another finishes math homework quickly but needs extra time to study Spanish. You need to design a schedule that will meet your needs. First, think about yourself. What are your goals, your strengths and weaknesses? Time. If you have a job or family responsibilities, there's a lot less time available. And think about what you already know about the subject. Then take a look at the textbook. How long is it? How hard do you think it will be? You might want to read a few paragraphs. Are there a lot of difficult vocabulary words to learn? Are there questions to answer and problems to solve? And then you want to take a look at your syllabus. You should get a syllabus in your first class in each course. Check to see if you'll be covering all or only parts of the book. Are there other assignments? Do you have extra reading? Do you have to write papers or do projects? And while you're at it, be sure to add the test dates and other information to your calendar. This should help you make a reasonable weekly schedule, at least to start with, but you might take one more step. For the first week or two, keep track of the time you need for each course. With this, you can make adjustments to your schedule. Now, let's take another look at Aiden's schedule. Aiden dropped Spanish. He kept track of the time he needed for each course, and then he made adjustments. I would say this is a lot better. His weekends are free, but he'll still need to make more time for school activities and to spend time with friends. So what do you do with your schedule? Aiden put one copy on the wall in his dorm room. He checks it each morning to remember what to put in his backpack. Then he taped copies of the schedule on the inside front cover of each of his notebooks. He uses these to remember when his classes are, as well as what he needs to study. This is the end of part 1, and it's where many books or classes stop. But please don't stop here. I believe the most exciting and the most helpful ideas are in part 2. There you will learn 4 new strategies that can change the way you learn. And finally, Aiden has a weekly schedule that is just what he wanted. To leave questions or comments, please go to my website or send me an email.